Habertürk'ten herkese merhabalar. Bu yıl ikincisi düzenlenen İstanbul Doğal Kaynaklar Zirvesi Lütfü Kırdar Kongre Merkezi'nde gerçekleşti. Pek çok ülkeden bakan yardımcısı ve diplomatların da katıldığı etkinlikte yanımda konuğum Moldova Enerji Bakanı Dorin Junghietu var. Mr. Minister, thank you so much for joining us today, firstly.
Thank you for the invitation.
Turkey has become highly critical energy hub in the region with its transit corridors and LNG terminals. Do you have any plans for new partnerships with Turkish energy companies to secure Moldova's supply security? And how do you view Turkey's position as an emerging regional energy hub?
Well, as I was commenting during today's summit, we have three pillars for our energy security. One, it's the renewable coupled with storage and with flexible generation. The second one are the interconnections, the regional interconnections, the energy corridors. And the third one, the access to the variety of sources of supply plus the energy efficiency. So, of course, similar to Turkey's example, the energy corridors, the energy interconnectors for Moldova, they are critical. If we are talking about potential for energy companies, for companies from Turkey for investments, now we have a second tender ongoing for 170 megawatt of renewable, basically wind coupled with energy storage. And in this particular tender, we already have a local investor with Turkish capital participating into this tender. So the tender is currently at the technical evaluation phase. In a couple of weeks, we expect also the financial evaluation. And we are positive that all the investments which are happening now in Moldova, it's attracting also the Turkish investors. At the same time, also Turkey, a company from Turkey, it's about to be declared the winner of one of the second interconnector that we're building with Romania. So as you can see, there is already presence of Turkish companies in the energy sector of Moldova.
And you recently held high-level energy talks in Brussels. And as we discussed today's panel, energy security now requires immediate action and it's really important. So with your meetings with the European Commission and the EU, what is the next definitive milestone for Moldova's full integration into European energy markets? And how will this protect your grid from future crises?
So basically, that dialogue, it's, if I remember well, is the seventh dialogue, high-level dialogue on energy between Moldova and the EU Commission on Moldova's path towards European Union integration. And it's very important for us because majority of our energy, electricity and gas is coming from the European market. How we see it in the future, in the perspective of 2028, there is the closest window to do the market coupling on electricity between Moldova and the EU market. We still have to build the second interconnector. We are advancing quite substantially with the reforms on the electricity market. We launched already the intraday and the day-ahead market. We conducted the tender for the balancing and system services for our TSO. So in terms of reforms, in terms of regulations, we are very well advanced. Now we need to build the additional interconnections to be able to export and to import the electricity. At the same time, it's very important also to utilize and to promote at the maximum extent the existing infrastructure. It's the same message which I passed today during the summit, that the existing gas infrastructure, it needs to be utilized at its maximum extent. And particularly we are talking about the Trans-Balkan and vertical gas corridor, which it's I would say it's one of the most important energy corridor for the entire region. And it's a security enabler for the region.
And lastly, the last pillar of Vulcanești and Chișinău power line, also called Energy Independence Line, was installed last year. It is a project that people are really interested in. And given the importance attached to this project, what stage is that and what extent it will ensure the Moldova's energy security once it's completed?
Definitely it's the flagship or the most important energy project, energy infrastructure project for the country at the moment. And basically why it's called the line of independence, because it's removing two structural issues. One, it's the existing way of the existing, how the infrastructure was built back in the 60s, 70s. It was built in such a way that the right bank of Dniester River will always be dependent for one single source of supply of electricity. And the second vulnerability which this line is going to replace is that the old infrastructure, it's already more than 50 years old. So it's exhausted and requires new line. So with this independence line, Vulcanești-Chișinău, we are going to replace and to eliminate the last vulnerability from our energy system, and as well to replace the old aged infrastructure. The stage where this project is. The line component of the project was already finalized last year in end of November, and in December we conducted the test, the commissioning of the line, the so-called cold commissioning. The two substations, one in Vulcanești, it's very well advanced, so it will be finalized. Well, by the way, the construction works and the installation of the most critical primary equipment was finalized last week, so now the contractor is doing the electrical connections. And in Chișinău substation, also we expect at the end of this month, they will be installing or will be finalizing the most critical construction works. So the promises that we got now from the contractors is that by the end of June, we might have this line ready to energize, to commission, and to have the first megawatt of electricity flowing from Romania to Moldova.
Thank you so much for taking your time and answering these important questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.